Heat number one of the night going to be your POWRi Super Stocks. The 56 of Mark Davis going to be on the pole. The 164 of Michael Muskrat on his outside. Row number 2 is going to be the 2A of Ace O'Neal into his outside. The 53 of Danny O'Neal. 4 cars here for tonight for your Super Stocks. And we're going to send them 8 trips around the mighty Midway. I want to thank everybody for coming out here tonight. I know we've been gone a long time, and it is so good to be back. I want to thank everybody for watching at home on ShowMeDirt. But instead of watching at home, scamper on down here to the track. I'd love to see your smiling face. So they're going to cruise around, roll some of the moisture in as we get ready to turn them loose. All right, race fans, we're going to stack them up bumper to bumper, door to door. Davis, Muskrat on that front row. O'Neal and O'Neal on that second row. They are not related. Lights are down. We're going to be green flag racing when they come out of turn number 4. So next time by, we got the one to go from the starter stand. I'm so glad to be back here at the mighty Midway in Lebanon, Missouri. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, down into turn number 3. We're going to go out of 4. Green flag is in the air. Mark Davis going to lead them on down into 1 and 2. Michael Muskrat going to be sitting there in the second spot. Danny O'Neal going to shuffle on up into the number 3 spot. As they're going to go down the back stretch and into 3, it's going to be Mark Davis in that 56 out of 4. Going to take lap number 1, but he's got that 164 of Michael Muskrat all over his back bumper. Danny O'Neal going to be sitting there in that 3rd spot with the black and orange 53. Ace O'Neal going to round out the field in 4th. But out front, large and in charge, going to be that 56 of Mark Davis, Michael Muskrat, Danny O'Neal, Ace O'Neal. That's how the heat is lined out right now. Out of turn 4, it is the 56 of Mark Davis. He's still your race leader, the 164. Michael Muskrat trying to run him down, trying to find some rubber. Oh, Davis bobbles it. Muskrat misses him. Down into 3, they're going to go. The drive is on. Out of turn 4. Bang! Got it. New race leader goes the 164. Now Mark Davis going to have to try to run down somebody instead of being chased down. Davis, oh no! Davis loops it around coming out of turn 2, and he's going to shut her down. That's going to bring out the first yellow of the night. Yellow is out. Yellow, yellow, yellow. '56 of Mark Davis going to bring out that very first caution flag of the evening. Here we go, down into 3 and 4. Out of 4, green flag, gonna be back in the air. Michael Muskrat gonna lead them on down to 1 and 2. Danny O'Neill second, Ace O'Neill third. Mark Davis, he's gonna have to go to the tailback as he looped it around, but he's gonna be charging towards the front. Out of turn 4, it is still single file. Michael Muskrat starting to create some distance as he's got the white flag. One more trip around. Out of turn 4, checkered flag for the 164 of Michael Muskrat. Danny O'Neill second, Ace O'Neill third, and Mark Davis rounds out the field in 4th. Here we go. Heat number 1 for your Midwest Modifieds. On the pole is going to be the 83 of Ben Newell. On his outside, the 17 of Garrett Parker. Row number 2 going to be the 6 of Corey Henson. And to his outside, the 65 junior of Carter Jackson. Row number 3 is going to be the K1 of Luke Aiken and the 87 of Aaron Odell. And riding shotgun going to be the 44R of Randall Cushing. Here we go, fill the work on in, out of turn 4, green flag is up and out and in the air. Here we go, Heat 1 Midwest Modified. Ben Newell going to be your race leader. Oh, looky back here. Luke Aiken on the move. Now Carter Jackson on the move. Ben Newell, your race leader. Garrett Parker. Luke Aiken. And then you've got Carter Jackson. Uh-oh, Corey Henson off the track. Corey Henson off the track. It is still the 83 of Ben Newell, your race leader, followed in by Garrett Parker. Carter Jackson trying to run down that gate of Luke Aiken. As there is a lot of separation between the cars, except the battle for 3rd and 4th. Between Luke Aiken and Carter Jackson, that's the battle on the track right now. Jackson going to go to the top side. Aiken, he's catfishing down the bottom side. He's got to work it, but Jackson going to drive into 3 a little harder. Down at turn number 4. Jackson going to take over 3rd. Now he's going to drop her down to the bottom side. Going to play a little defense. As Ben Newell out front, he's the race leader. Got a commanding lead over the 17 of Garrett Parker. Jackson sits in 3rd. Aiken 4th. Odell 5th. And Cushing going to round out your field as the 6 of Corey Henson made a trip to the pits earlier in the heat race. Yellow, 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 yellow. Yellow is out. Yellow is out for the 65 junior of Carter Jackson. Hey, where are you going? Races aren't over yet. Here we go, Delaware double file restart. Ben Newell going to be out front by his lonesome. Garrett Parker's going to pick the top side. That's going to put Luke Aiken down to the bottom side. Aaron Odell going to go down to the bottom side. Randall Cushing going to go to the top. Carter Jackson going to round out the field all by his lonesome. Down into 3. We're coming to the green. Out of 4. Here we go. Back to green flag action. Carter Jackson trying to get back up into that number 3 spot after he fought so hard to get Ben Newell, your race leader, with the white flag. 1 to go. Carter Jackson now up into 4th. He's got 2 turns left. Can he crown that 3 spot? Checkered flag for the 83 of Ben Newell. Garrett Parker takes 2nd. Luke Aiken takes 3rd as the 87 of Aaron Odell going to loop it around. Coming out of turn 4 to the checkered. That's going to wrap up heat number 1 for your POWRi Midwest mods. Up next going to be heat number 2 on the pole. Is going to be the 27 of Terry Williams, to his outside the 17 of Logan Ruark. Row number 2 going to be the 34C of the Wheelman, Jake Carter, into his outside the 7G of William Garner. Row 3, you got the 84 of Daytona, Dayton Newell, into his outside the 16A of Shannon Geller. Riding shotgun all by his lonesome. And row number 4 going to be the 75 of Colby Lathrop. Here we go. Lights are down. Into 3 and 4. Green flag. Heat 2 underway. Oh, look at the cluster. 3 wide for 3rd. Going down the back stretch. Going to be 3 deep. Time to sell it cheap. Logan Ruark, your leader. Terry Williams sits in 2nd. William Garner holds on to 3rd. Now William Garner going to make a battle on Terry Williams for 2nd. Look at this. Shannon Geller going to poke up in there. Going to make it a 3-car battle for 4th. Your top 6 cars all bunched together. Throw a blanket on them. And Logan Ruark still going to have the lead down through 1 and 2. William Garner's making the run down to the bottom side. Drag race. The drive is on to the bottom of turn 3. Yeah, it is still Logan Ruark, your race leader. William Garner's gotten up and around. Here we go. Slide job, White Castles. Crossover by Garner. New race leader down the backstretch. William Garner going to lead him on in, but you still got a 3-car battle for 3rd. As they come out of turn 4, it is Garner, Ruark, Terry Williams by a bumper over the 84 of Dayton Newell. Now Dayton Newell going to slide it in there. Carter going to go to the top shelf. Jake Carter up into 3rd. He's a wheel man for a reason, ladies and gentlemen, as they come out of turn 4. Jake Carter secured that number 3 spot. Down to turn 4, it is still that 7G of William Garner. Logan Ruark holds on to 2nd. Jake Carter now, looky here. Ruark bobbled it. Carter's on the outside. 2nd, Newell down the bottom side. 3 cars battling it for that number 2 spot. Down at turn 4, white flag for William Garner. Carter into 2nd. Jake Carter's got his line figured out up there on the top shelf. Dayton Newell slides up into 3rd. Final time out of 4. Checkered flag for the 7G of William Garner. Jake Carter 2nd, and Dayton Newell going to take home 3rd. Here we go. Third and final heat race for your Midwest Modifieds. On the poles, the 25J of Ryan Hargis to his outside. The 7C of Derek Cook. Row 2 is going to be the 8K of Tyler Cadunston at his outside, the 28D of Dylan Dampier. Row 3, you got the 14 of John Newell and the 15R of Oakley Ragland. Out of turn number 4. Green flag is in the air for our third and final heat for your Midwest Modifieds. Oh, here comes Derek Cook. He's trying to make a run on the race lead over the 25J of Ryan Hargis. Tyler Cadunston's going to be there as well. Derek Cook takes lap 1. Hargis going to stomp on the loud pedal through 1 and 2. Cook going to stomp on it as well. He's going to be like, see you, bye-bye. We catfishing down on the bottom side. Tyler Cadunston going to follow your race leader down on the bottom side. Dylan Dampier going to be sitting there in fourth. John Newell, Oakley Ragland rounds out your field. And your top 3 starting to create some separation. Now Tyler Cadunston down on the bottom side of Hargis. They're going to be silhouetted down the back stretch into 3. Going to be a door-to-door battle for that number 2 spot as Derek Cook going to lead the charge out of 4. Followed in by Hargis and Cadunston. Out of turn 4, it is still Derek Cook, your race leader. Hargis holds on to second by about a half a car. But Tyler Cadunston there in that 8K, he's going to go to the top shelf, going to try to find some move. Trying to find it. Trying to get some moves, some running room. Here he goes out on the top shelf. Goes Cadunston. Out of 4, it is still Hargis by about a car and a half. Uh-oh, we got one around in 3 and 4. The yellow is out. Yellow is out for the 14 of John Newell. Green flag out of 4. Here we go. The 8K on the top shelf. Half a car shy. Derek Cook trying to hold on to the bottom side. Here we go down the back stretch. The race is on. Into 3 they're going to go. Coming out of turn 4, new race leader with 1 to go. Down the back stretch, going to go Tyler Cadunston as he's going to have that race lead. Derek Cook down on the bottom side. Track race to the line, checkered flag for Tyler Cadunston. Derek Cook, Ryan Hargis, 1, 2, and 3. Race fans, I need everybody to get off your seat and on your feet. Clap, scream, cheer, make some noise for our Young Gun Hornets heat number 1. On the pole is going to be the 8 of Kyle Kraus into his outside, the 5C of Callie Martin. Row number 2 is going to be the 66 of Max Dublin into his outside, the 80 of Aiden Smith. Row 3 is going to be the 18 of Clay Chancellor. Ladies and gentlemen, these drivers are all between the ages of 12 and 17. 12 and 17 is the age of these drivers. Here we go. Out of turn 4. Green flag is in the air. Out of turn 4, lap 1 goes to the 8 of Kyle Kraus. Callie Martin holds on to second. Max doubling up into that number 3 spot. Here comes the 80 of Aiden Smith. Oh, whoa, whoa. Everybody decided to slam on the brakes right there coming out of 2. Here we go. It is still Kraus, your race leader. Martin second, doubling third. Wow, look at the battle back here for 4th between Chancellor and Smith. Oh, a little bit of contact there between Smith and Dublin, but nothing they can't handle. As your race leader is going to be the 8 of Kyle Kraus. He's going to come out of turn 4. He's going to have the line. Callie Martin's doing good, holding on to second, trying to run down your race leader as Max Dublin holds on to third. Look out, Aiden Smith. Woo! Aiden Smith almost looped it, but he saved it. Nice driving, great recovery. Out of turn 4, you're going to see 2 to go this time by. For your leader, the 8 of Kyle Kraus. Callie Martin holds on to second. Max Dublin got to play a lot of defense there in third as he's got the 80 of Aiden Smith all over his back bumper. They're going to come out of turn 4. You're going to see the white flag. One more trip around for the 8 of Mr. Kyle Kraus. Callie Martin knows she's got to make something happen here. Oh, Aiden Smith slid her up the hill. Almost gave up that number 4 spot. But great driving again. Great recovery again. As we come out of turn 4, you're going to see the checkered flag for the 8 of Kyle Kraus. Callie Martin second. And Max Dublin takes home third. And that is going to be the end of Heat 1 for your Young Gun Hornets. Up next, going to be heat number 2 for your Young Gun Hornets. Again, Young Guns. Ladies and gentlemen, when they come onto the track, please stand up, clap, cheer, scream. Let the flash on your camera go off. Show these young kids, these young racers, that you're excited to see them. You're excited to watch them. Here we go. Heat number 2 on the pole is going to be the 2M of Zoe Mooney and her outside the 18K of Connor Reed. Row number 2 is going to be the 25 of Rhett Edgar, and on his outside, the 23 of Ryan Wolgamut. Here we go, into 3, coming out of turn number 4. Green flag is in the air. So the last time we was here over a month ago, Connor Reed was our Young Gun Hornet feature winner. And he's out here right now showing you why. The 23 of Ryan Wolgamut going to be sitting there in second. Zoe Mooney holds on to third, but she's got Rhett Edgar to her outside. As they're going to battle it down the backstretch. Oh! Edgar goes up, gets real close to the wall. I bet he's wearing his brown suit right now. As Connor Reed going to be your race leader with a tremendous lead over Ryan Wolgamut. Rhett Edgar going to be sitting there in that 25 car in third. Zoe Mooney going to be back there in fourth, just getting some seat time for her. As Connor Reed crosses the stripe, your race leader. Two more trips around for the 18K of Connor Reed. Rhett Edgar now up into that number 2 spot ahead of the 23 of Ryan Wolgamont. Zoe Mooney still sits back there in that number 4 spot, but we're going to come out of turn number 4. You're going to see the white flag one more trip around for that 18K machine of Connor Reed. Into 3 for the final time, coming out of turn number 4. Checkered flag for the 18K of Connor Reed. Rhett Edgar takes second, Ryan Wolgamont third, and Zoe Mooney rounds out your field in 4th. All right, race fans, it's time for a little pure pandemonium as we got your POWRi Pure Stocks. On the pole is going to be the 5B of Mason Beck and his outside the 0 of James Reedus. Row 2, you got the 14 of Derek Davis and the N42 of Chad Nivens. Row 3, you got the grocery getter, the 174 of Derek Lampy and his outside the 21M of Peyton McDowell. And row number 4, all by his lonesome, the 21 of Carson Groniger. Green flag is in the air. Here we go. Three wide for 4th back here with the 2 wagons and Derek Davis. Oh, a little bit of bumping and banging contact, but nothing we can't handle. Coming out of turn 4 to lap 1 goes to, I have no idea. I couldn't tell. Oh, here comes Carson. Hey, buddy. Big battle up front between Mason Beck and James Reedus. As they come out of turn 4, Mason Beck got it by about a fender. Then you got a 4-car battle back here for second between Nivens, McDowell, Lampy, and Davis. Out of turn 4, it is now James Reedus to the race lead. Mason Beck going to be sitting there in second in that 5B machine. Peyton McDowell sits in third with his wagon. Derek Lampy trying to get up there to battle out, get the wagon power towards the front as it is all uh-oh, Derek Davis off the power. Derek Davis off the power. Oh, no. It's all right. Carson Groniger was able to, you missed the turn, Derek. Yellow is out. Yellow is out. The 14 of Derek Davis was unable to make the turn into pit road. Here we go, Delaware double file restart. James Reed is going to be out front. Mason Beck going to go down to the bottom side. Peyton McDowell got to go to the top. Derek Lampy going to go down. Carson Groniger going to go up. Chad Nivens down on the bottom side. And Derek Davis goes up. Down the back stretch we're going to go as we fill the work on into turn number 3. Out of 4, green flag is up and out and in the air. Rita's going to lead him on down. Peyton McDowell got a good jump there as he's going to try to run down that 5B machine of Mason Beck. But he's got the 174. Oh, looky there, contact. As Beck slides it up the hill, slices the nose off of Peyton McDowell. Now you're going to be 3 deep. Time to sell it cheap for that number 2 spot. Looky here, Derek Lampy slicing and dicing up in front of Peyton McDowell. But he's still got to get around that 5B of Mason Beck. But out front, it is all the 0 of James Reedus starting to pull away. He says, you know what? Y'all battle it out. I'm going to be taking a trip on to Victory Lane later tonight. We'll see you later. Now you got Derek Lampy down to the bottom side of Mason Beck as the battle for second is on. White flag, 1 to go. Mason Beck by literally a bumper that last time by. Lampy's down on the bottom side. He's got a good run off of 2 down the backstretch. We're going to see who walks away with second. But out front, coming out of turn number 4 to the checkered flag, going to be the 0 of James Reedus. Derek Lampy second, Mason Beck third. Here we go, heat number 2. On the pole is going to be the 32 of Richard Adams and his outside, the 5 of Justin McDowell. Row number 2 is going to be the 19 of Trenton Houston and his outside, the 42 of Trevor Ellingson. Row 3, you got the 26 of Preston McDowell and his outside, the 78 of Orso Sterling. Out of turn 4, here we go. Green flag is underway. Out of turn 4, or out of turn 2, down the back stretch, we're going to go. The 32 of Richard Adams going to lead the charge. Here comes the 19 of Trenton Houston. And that beautiful new wrapped 19 just got the wrap on it this weekend. I do believe he called the original home of Wrap On Horsepower, Bring It and Sling It wraps for that thing, and it is spectacular. Trevor Ellingson going to be sitting in that number 3 spot. Justin McDowell rides in 4th as Richard Adams leads the charge. Here comes Preston McDowell, the 26 and the 78 of Orso Sterling. Oh, Trenton going to give him a little shot to the short. Says, I'm here, bub. What's up? As they're going to go down into 1 and 2. Richard Adams. Houston going to pick him off. Going to show him the nose. Going to be like, hey, I'm still here. Richard Adams, he's not going down without a fight. Here we go. Looky there. That is a battle right there, ladies and gentlemen. Trenton Houston going to try and get a little lower. Not going to get it to stick. Richard Adams says, not today, guy. As they're going to go down into 3. Trevor Ellingson still sitting in that number 3 spot. Justin McDowell 4th. But out front, it is an all-out dogfight. Richard Adams playing defense like it's nobody's business. Trenton Houston giving him everything he's got, trying to throw it in, drive it in, everything. As they're going to go down through 3 and 4. It is still Richard Adams. He's been in charge since the drop of green with that beautiful green car. Here we go. Looky there. Trenton got up to the front wheels, not able to make it happen. Now they're going to go down into 3 and 4. Richard Adams going to shut him down. Going to say, nope. White flag, 1 to go. It's time for checkers or wreckers. Out of turn 2, it is still the 32 of Richard Adams. Trenton Houston, you got 2 turns to go. Better make it happen. Into 3, coming out of turn number 4. Checkered flag for the 32 of Richard Adams. Trenton Houston, Trevor Ellingson, your top 3. Whew, that was Do you see why I said, are you ready for some pure pandemonium? That was intense. Like, I'm sweating and I'm not even racing. I'm just announcing. This is ridiculous. I should have put on more deodorant. I'm kidding. I put plenty on. Don't worry. Here we go. POWRi B-Mod. Heat number 1 on the pole is going to be the 49 of Mason Rodden, into his outside the 16M of the Batman, Brian Myers. Row 2 is going to be the 68 of Donnie Betts, into his outside the 2 of Eric Graves. Row 3, you got the 19R of Cody Stillwell and the 5 of Mr. Robert White. Out of turn 4. Nope. Back it down, gentlemen. Back it down. We're going to try it again out of turn 4. Green flag is in the air. That's much prettier. That's Mason Rodden going to lead them on down to the 1 and 2. Here comes the Batman, Brian Myers on the outside. Eric Graves goes up a little too high. Hits that top shelf berm. Down through 3 and 4 it is. Brian Myers to the lead. Mason Rodden second. Robert White third. 3 wide out of 2. A lot of contact, a lot of wheel spin. Robert White's up into that number 2 spot. Brian Myers, see you later, Batman. He's got to go rescue Gotham. That's Robert White holds on to second. Donnie Betts up into that number 3 spot. Here comes Cody Stillwell in that beautiful black and green. Brian Myers still your race leader. Robert White second. Donnie Betts third, but don't count out that 19R Cody Stillwell. Eric Graves on the attack as he's down to the bottom side of Stillwell. Graves going to come up into that number 4 spot, and he's going to steal it away. Uh-oh. Mason Rodden, he's got right front trouble. Or maybe he's got... Yellow is out. Our 5th caution of the night, ladies and gentlemen. Caution number 5 coming out for the 49, Mason Rodden. Here we go, Delaware double file restart. Brian Myers, your race leader. Robert White going to go down on the bottom side. Donnie Betts got to go to the top side. Eric Graves down. Cody Stillwell up. Lights are down. We got the 1 to go from the starter stand. We're halfway home. 4 down, 4 to go, ladies and gentlemen. Who's going to take home heat race number 1 win for your POWRi B-Mods? We got one more heat race for your B-Mods next. Green flag going to be back in the air as Robert White on the attack on the prow. Here he comes. Eric Graves going to be right there as well. Eric Graves says, you know what? I messed up at the start of the race. We're going to fix that. We're going to take her to the front. Oh, doctor, that was close. Eric Graves, he's on the attack, on the hunt, and on the prow as he's going to come right to the backside of Robert White. Going to give him a little steiner on the backside. Brian Myers still going to be your race leaders. They're going to work on down through 3 and 4. It is Myers. Oh, Stillwell almost bobbled it all the way out of control, but he saved her. Robert White, he knows he's got Eric Graves on his backside. He's got to stomp on the loud pedal and pick up the pace. As Brian Myers leads on everybody running pretty much the exact same line down through the speedway. White flag, 1 to go. Eric Graves coming right to the back tire of Robert White. He's going to try to make a move down through 3 and 4. Out of turn number 4, you see the checkered for the 16M of Brian Myers. Robert White, Eric Graves, your top 3. That's going to wrap up Heat 1. Here comes Heat number 2 for your POWRi B-Mods. On the pole is going to be the 77 of Jeremy Hazel. To his outside, the 30 of Rex Harris. Row 2, you got the 96X of Jeff Hopper. And to his outside, the 14C of Cody Crabtree. Row 3, you got the 44T of Casey Thomas. And the 65 of Mr. Chris Jackson. Into 3, coming out of turn 4. There's the firing zone. Green flag is back up and in the air. Final heat race for your B-Mods. Gonna shake them on down to the 1 and 2. Rex Harris gonna lead the charge. And 4 wide. Coming out of 2 down the back stretch. They're gonna go throw a blanket on all 6 cars. It's still anybody's battle. As Rex Harris gonna lead lap 1. Jeremy Hazel, Cody Crabtree, your top 3. Casey Thomas, Jeff Hopper, Chris Jackson, they're all back there 3 wide. Now we're going to be almost 4 wide through 3 and 4. Jackson on the move. As Rex Harris trying to get as much separation between him and the rest of the field as quickly as possible. He knows he's got heavy hitters like Chris Jackson and Casey Thomas on his trail. Chris Jackson now up into that number 3 spot. Oh! Cody Crabtree makes contact with Chris Jackson, and they both go around. Yellow is out. Yellow is out. So it looks like we're calling in the tow truck, the wrecker. We need the wrecker to 1 and 2 as Cody Crabtree's shifter is stuck. So, well, we got the wrecker now, but I guess we're going to try to bump it. I don't know what the plan is. Everybody just pay attention to 1 and 2 and let's watch the show. Hey, next week, if Mother Nature is wrong, Les Hayes Memorial. So like I just said before I was rudely interrupted, next weekend, June 6th, we got the Les Hayes Memorial. You're not going to want to miss that. We're going to have Midwest Mods, Pure Stocks, Super Stocks, P-Mods, and Hornets. June 13th, we got the Kids Candy Scramble. Y'all hearing that? Kids Candy Scramble, June 13th. Okay? What we do is we drop a whole bunch of candy and we let the kids grab as much as they can. So the kids get to go out on the track, on the front stretch, and grab as much candy as possible. July 4th, we got our fireworks spectacular. All right, lights are off. We're going to go green flag racing. Rex Harris going to be out front by his lonesome in the Delaware double file restart. Out at turn 4, green flag is in the air. Jackson with a good jump. Already up into third goes Chris Jackson. They're going to be 3 wide for second, almost 4 wide there for a minute. As Rex Harris is going to try to get out front. Jackson going to the top shelf as he's going to hold on to that number 3 spot. Casey Thomas down on the bottom side. Rex Harris trying to stay out front, trying to get as much separation between him and the rest of the field as possible because he knows they're there, he knows they're coming. Casey Thomas holds on to second, Jackson third. As Jackson going to tiptoe through the tulips around the top shelf. He's going to diamond it off through 1 and 2. As Chris Jackson stays on the top side all the way through 3 and 4. 2 laps to go for the 30 of Rex Harris. Jackson kind of diamonding it off down there in 1 and 2, trying to get some speed in the run. Out of turn 2 to run down that 44. Casey Thomas, white flag, making her breaking time. As Rex Harris goes down to 1 and 2. Here we go, down into 3 for the final time. Coming out of turn number 4, checkered flag for the 30 of Rex Harris. Casey Thomas, second. And Chris Jackson, a third. All right, here we go. 1 heat race for your POWRi Hornets on the pole is going to be the 80 of Jim Cook and his outside, the 2M of Corbin Mooney. Row 2 is going to be the 3M of Bobby Mooney. Does not look like he can make the call. On his outside, the 63W of David Kirkpatrick. Row number 3 is going to be the 2 of Justin Day and the 18 of Dustin Aiken. And row 4 is going to be the 6 of Dustin Reeves. Lights are down, 6 cars. Supposed to be 7, but Bobby Mooney unable to make the call. Hopefully he can get it fixed and join us back out here for the feature. As we go down into 3, we're going to hit the start zone. Green tire, green flag is up and out and in the air. Here we go, POWRi Hornets. Here we go. Corbin Mooney holds on to that lead. Jim Cook's there, Kirkpatrick's there, Day's there. As they're going to go down through 3 and 4. Lap 1, going to go to the 2M of Bobby or Corbin Mooney. I'm going to hear about that later. Corbin Mooney going to hold on to that number 1 spot. Jim Cook second, but here comes the 2 of Justin Day in the hatchback. The 63W, David Kirkpatrick's right there as well. But Justin Day slides up, takes that number 3 spot. Here we go. Justin Day down to the bottom side of Jim Cook. Justin Day trying to get up there and run down that 2M of Corbin Mooney. As Mooney still leading the charge. Jim Cook holds on to second. Justin Day in that number 3 spot. But now Justin Day going to secure that number 2 spot. Corbin Mooney better watch out. Justin's got it figured out down on the bottom side of the speedway. As Day going to come up to the back quarter panel of Corbin Mooney. Mooney going to stay on the top side of the speedway. Out of turn 2, drag race. You got a new race leader down the backstretch. Corbin Mooney not going to back down, not going to give it up just yet. They're going to come out of turn 4. You're going to see the white flag, 1 to go for the 2 of Justin Day. The 2M of Corbin Mooney second, and the 80 of Jim Cook sits in third. Out Out of turn 4, checkered flag for the 2 of Justin Day. Corbin Mooney second and Jim Cook third.